Hello, ladies and gentlemen. And I just want to talk about a text that I got today. And it says, does Kenny Wallace watch every video you make and then make a video? All he ever does is name drop. He should just name drop the Chaz and be done with it. And I was like, why? What did he say? So Kenny Wallace comes out with a video on the heels of my Chicago backfire video where I said NASCAR tried to look like Formula One and promote American talent with stock cars, and how good America's stock car talent is, and then had a foreign driver come in and kick their ass on their stage in his first try. And I thought, and I still think that's bad for what they were trying to accomplish overall. And I also threw in there, I was like, this is what happens in NASCAR. Maybe I should allude to that more, is like, the way that NASCAR drivers are selected are not like stick and ball sports. And a lot of people are wrong in misunderstanding the general society that we have to deal with. Do not understand the respect factor of what they see when they see a World of Outlaws sprint car driver, a Lucas Oil late model driver, a local track champ, an IMCA national champion, versus a NASCAR champ. They don't understand how these people are selected and put into their positions and how to actually view them. A lot of people would assume that if you are a NASCAR Cup Series racer, you are similar to LeBron James or Tom Brady or Drew Brees or Aaron Rodgers, or you must have just become, you are talent-wise the best thrower of the football. And unfortunately, due to the monetary circumstances of motor sports, that is not the case. I would invite everyone out there to go to your local track or region or win a series, regional series, national series, any of them, and walk up to the driver who won that night or multiple drivers who are performing at a top level and ask them, why didn't you make it to the major leagues known as NASCAR? And this is what people believe. And more than likely, that driver's going to tell you, I didn't have the money. It's not going to be, I didn't have the talent. So due to this situation, and that goes for asphalt and dirt, I think that there's probably better asphalt circle track racers in America than NASCAR Cup Series drivers that didn't have the money or opportunities either. And this is just reality. It is not tryouts for some asphalt NASCAR career somewhat operate like 10,000 to come and try out, and then they let everyone hot lap the car, and then they say, okay, we really like you. Well, it's going to be $750,000 for a year, or we can get you in a race for 60. It doesn't matter who clicked the fastest time. Whereas tryouts with baseball and football and stuff like that, they have these quarterbacks or these baseball hitters come out. Guy sells it over the fence 10 times. Other guy sells it over the fence 5. The guy who sold it over the fence 10 times is who's moving up to the next level of the department of the sports world. The talent is going to rise to the top. You are not pushed ahead to another level based on buying your way there. That is the biggest difference here. You can literally purchase your way to a starting lineup in motorsports. You do not have to have the better talent. You can have talent. The guy who hits it over the fence 5 times has talent. He just doesn't have it like the other guy. But the other guy doesn't have the money in motorsports. And so the talent perspective of what these things are in America is so misunderstood. And you have gatekeepers who push the mantra of, hey, no. This guy who hits 5 home runs is better than these 10 home run guys. If they were so much better, they would be up here, ignoring the monetary differences versus those two players. So that is the biggest issue, and that is why I believe an SVG can come over and kick 5 home run hitter guy's ass in their preppy little league that they are locked into, and then they take a Kyle Larson who got plenty of investors and say, well, you can come from nothing and make it. Well, that's just one guy, and he didn't come from money, but money came to him at a very young age. I don't know if you checked the prices on 360 sprint cars, but they're not free. And not everybody gets to have that at 14, 15 years old. Doesn't mean that they're not just as naturally talented, because talent cannot be taught. You can go out and run your little kitty as many times as you want in all these different series and buy his way up there. It don't matter. Tim Tebow prayed to God to throw the football better than Tom Brady. Practice harder, did it harder, did everything you could. It don't matter. You can't teach talent. And that goes for driving these race cars as well, not just throwing footballs and hitting baseballs out of the park. So, due to this monetary structure in the American motorsport scene for sure, you have a lot of people buying their way to starting lineups, and you have a lot of 10 home run hitting son of a bitches out here on these short asphalt and dirt tracks across this country that are better than your boys. They just didn't have your boys' money. And they cannot, and when I say they, anybody, SVGs up down the road everywhere you want to go, they cannot come over here and kick these boys' ass who got more talent than money. And that's what I believe. And maybe Kyle Larson is a Tom Brady, but buddy, we got some Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees is ready to whoop his ass, and they just did it at Houston's last week. And they do it in the late model world all the time. And probably, you know, if we want to talk about World of Outlaws and Lucas Oil, probably organization or events like the IMCA Super Nationals at Boone is probably harder to win than some of these big World of Outlaw or Lucas races. Because the price to play is a little bit lower, so there's more 10 home run hitters out there slinging cars around. So that's why I made the statement that, yeah, SVG could go over there and kick up on the 5 home run hitting boys. And he can't do it to the dirt world because of the reality that we face in dirt racing and short track asphalt racing once again. This is something so quintessential to explain to the American public, the world public, to understand how to judge or respect these other racers in these little bitty pimple on your ass forms of motorsports. That's how you're going to get your respect. That's how you're going to get your crowds. That's how you're going to get your fans. That's how you're also going to get your diversity. It's through respect and understanding the talent, the Mike Tysons out here. And you know that they are. While they go over there in their little prep league and outclass Mike Tyson so that they don't have to fight him. That's all they are. It's just another class of society that is keeping everyone else out. It's classism. I've been saying it for years. It's classism. It's monarchy. It's based on all these different things. It's nepotism. It's all this bullshit. It's anything but hitting the home run ball or throwing touchdowns. It's everything but the actual skill. And even in dirt racing, we deal with that as well. Like I said, World of Outlaws to IMCA, the monetary separations there as well. But there is a damn good argument to be made that you may find a little more home run hitters in this dirt racing world in America than you're going to find in your little rich fucking preppy club. And that's where I stand and where I'm always going to fucking stand. And hopefully some of y'all could stand with me. I gotta somewhat argue Kyle Larson and how great he is, because they take a Kyle Larson to say this is the best of all the dirt worlds to basically diminish the amount of talent in dirt. Because if they can beat Kyle Larson on a Sunday or Saturday or whatever, the world now, based on their great marketing skills, believes that they just beat everyone in the dirt world. And this is also why you watch, because you believe that when he beats them, that's saying that you in the dirt world can beat them. You even believe he's representing you. And they do too. It's Hunger Games. He's from that sector. Or, as some people would say, it's not a sector. It's a lower form college, and he's the graduate. And this is why people in society start to build this structure of how you and Dirt World are just AAA flag football little bitches. But regardless, this is the next level marketing that y'all people don't want to understand or listen to. But maybe after my little explanation there, you could understand it. Because this is a big time threat. This rich, preppy little club has done a real good job, paid a lot of money to convince society that they are Tom Brady's, to convince society that they are the best hitters of the ball. They've done a real good job, because if that was ever to be exposed, what I'm talking about right now, their respect would tank into the ground and everything they have would be gone. If everyone knew they were a bunch of fucking paper champions. If everyone knew that the guy down the street could slap them around the racetrack. No one knows this. Except us in racing. Which, and us in dirt racing, which once again, as some people say, are a pimple on your fucking ass. And it's true. Very true. Now, luckily, thanks to the internet, and the reason I say internet, so let me show you something. OEM manufacturers are what runs the world in motorsports. So General Motors Company, this is their stock right here, stockholders. I want you to pay attention to two people here named BlackRock and Vanguard Group. Please pay attention to these individuals. And honestly, guys, if you don't know who these two entities are, you shouldn't really be voting for president or anything or have any opinions in the world, because these are the puppet masters of the puppets you watch. Or, in racing terms, these are the sponsors who fund the show and the cars and everything that entertains you. Majority holders in General Motors. This is Ford Motor Company. Majority holders in Ford. And once again, as some people say, CEOs listen to the board, and they do what the board tells them, or they get fired. This is Fox Corporation, right here. Fox, all of Fox, racing, sports, news. Vanguard, BlackRock. There's a few others, but these you'll notice these names. And here is Comcast, NBC, a bunch of companies underneath the Comcast brand. Vanguard, BlackRock. And then, of course, sponsors like Coca-Cola, Vanguard, BlackRock. And these two are very, very prominent individuals in the business world. They run everything. And they also control what everyone thinks, because televisions tell people what to like and what not to like, and radios, and I didn't even go into all the stations that is possibly linked to this conglomerate. But dirt racing don't have any of these guys really involved at all. We're not corporatized at all, period. So we don't have the corporate entity supporting us. And also, they got to protect their assets. They got too much invested in a NASCAR to sell cars. Ever since they flipped, some people like to bring up Nigel Mansell. Nigel Mansell leaving Formula One to the kart series really pissed off Formula One and their big money investors as well. And there's people like Jacques Villeneuve who have alluded to that Formula One was intricate in starting the IndyCar series, which helped Tony Stewart rise to his fame as well. And that whole split of the IndyCar scene with IndyCar and kart opened up the door for NASCAR to rise and take over. And the OEM manufacturers started to support that, because they figured that, to sell cars like Impalas and Tauruses, or whatever vehicle you want, why not we just support cars that look like cars instead of Indy cars? And IndyCar was in a fluctuation point, and NASCAR also had a movie that was coming to life with the help of companies like DuPont, who really didn't like PPG versus DuPont. These are petrochemical companies. Obviously, PPG was the sponsor of kart. DuPont was very supportive behind Jeff Gordon, who was technically the real-life character of Cole Trickle. And Cotrickle and Rowdy Burns was basically coming to life in 94, 95, 96 with Dale Sr. versus Jeff Gordon. Amazing, amazing things that occurred to rise NASCAR to the popularity that they are today, because they were always second fiddle to IndyCar racing in America. In fact, the oldest organization in America was IMCA and AAA and all these things. They were racing dirt and Indy cars and stuff while NASCAR drivers were trying to figure out which lane to turn on while they're running from the cops. So people don't just become big randomly. There's a lot of things that intricately happen to make that a reality today. But OEM manufacturers have been supporting NASCAR for a very long time, and dirt track racing and rising their popularity in American motorsports. That's why we see a little bit of the sprinklings of the corporate letterings that we're seeing here. Is very intricate because this is an asset that they have a lot of money invested in, and they don't want to lose that investment. This is typical business. I don't know why this is so hard to understand. That's why dirt racing is a big threat. That's why what I've been explaining to you this entire time is not known by the society, and the illusion that these guys, this preppy little club over here, is the best of the best. That's the reason why that is the illusion, because it protects the investment that has been made over several years. Mainly to protect Formula One, because Formula One's global dominance was starting to get challenged just a little bit when they took their damn champion named Nigel Mansell, and kart started to sprinkle outside of America. So making NASCAR fendered cars the number one sport in America definitely would keep American motorsports kind of segmented in America, because international fans couldn't relate to watching fendered cars as they were starting to relate to watching kart vehicles and Indy cars, because the cars look very similar. So this is the game that was played. NASCAR, you take over America, you're good. You leave our F1 type of racing away, and we're just going to bomb this IndyCar kart thing because y'all got a little bit too big, and we were worried about you threatening us at the end of the day. That's how I see it, though. Big business. Big business. This is not little business that I'm talking about. I mean, this Vanguard and BlackRock right here owns just about every fucking thing you can think of. Everything. Now let's get over into popularity just a little bit. So we're going to look at some of the organizations of sports in America. NFL, these are actually some interesting stats I've noticed here. NFL, 19 million followers on Facebook. I'm going to use Facebook because that's kind of the most relevant platform of social media. MLB, 9 million followers. And now this is the one that kind of hit stuff out of the park and was very interesting. Look at this. NBA, 40 million. Literally tanks the entire industry. Literally. 40 million. In the stick and ball industry. This is so fun. You got Formula One on top of the motorsport scene, 12 million. You do have NASCAR in second at 5.1. Then you have some other stuff. Everybody wants to compare dirt to NASCAR. I've continuously said, everybody's like, we don't want NASCAR or dirt to be like NASCAR. Okay, well, you got a lot of hoops to jump through to even get to where NASCAR is at. And I'm trying to help you understand that. 1.8 million for Monster Jam. 1.7 million for NHRA. 2.4 million for Formula Drift. IndyCar Series has 1. World Rally has 3. Supercross has 3.6. So Supercross, I believe, out of all the numbers I just said, is the closest thing to NASCAR. Now, what's funny about this is you think about the drivers that NASCAR actually has here, and you would assume that all the drivers are just superstars. And that is somewhat true for the drivers who were in NASCAR when NASCAR mattered. And we're talking about late 90s, Dale Earnhardt Jr. era, the Tony Stewart eras, the people who are still left over, the Kyle Bushes, the Martin Truex Jr.'s, obviously the Bubba Wallaces and some of these others. They're very pushed. Now, let me show you some of this. It's a very intricate situation. Look, Bubba Wallace, 179,000 followers. Look at this. Chase Elliott, obviously we know why that is. $499, Nepotism Monarchy. Shane, SVG, $224K. Very good, very solid. Kyle Busch, $570K. $570K, wow. Denny Hamlin, $209,000. And this is when things slowly change. This is where we get to these new modern Cup racers who didn't have a name in that heyday of NASCAR, and over the last 5 to 10 years have just got into the sport, or here in the last 5 years just got into the sport, and this is their popularity in today's society. We just went down the hot ringers there. You know, there are some others. You know, Kyle Larson's got a lot, but is he a NASCAR? Is he a dirt guy? I mean, how much is, you know, who knows? But we're going to go down some lists here, and you're going to see Alex Bowman, it dips a little bit, $112K. William Byron, 86,000 followers. Chase Briscoe, 65K. Eric Amarola, 70. Austin Cindric, Daytona 500 champion, 12,000 followers. Ross Chastain, one of the biggest names that they've been pushing, 81,000. Noah Gragson, definitely been getting some push from everybody. This is something that most racers, they would trade their lives to be this guy. This is how popular Noah Gragson is, 38K. Corey LaJoie's pretty good there for not being a marquee person, but a marquee name for sure. Corey LaJoie, little nepotism thrown in there. 97K. Daniel Suarez, international star winner, 157K. Ryan Blaney, obviously last name, Penske, everything like that, 142K. Now let's compare. So all these drivers that I just named off, I didn't go and do Michael McDowell's probably at like 20K, or, you know, I didn't go down these other unknownish kind of guys. I mean, Eric Amarola probably shouldn't have made the list, but this is just a general idea for you to understand that these newer guys that are in NASCAR that everybody apparently thinks they want to be, with all of the mainstream pushing and protection and wherewithal and trying to make them and emulate what they are, and these people are pushed on your TV screens and advertisements and everything. These are smashed into the American public's eyes, these people. This is how many likes they have. Now, let's go and look at what the dirt racing people and organizations have, and this is going to shock some of you who think that dirt racing is super big. But then at the same time, reality might set in for a few of you as well. Because at the end of the day, every number I'm about to show you is based on grassroots support, word of mouth, excitement, merit. Every fucking like I'm about to show you ain't about no damn mainstream media pushing bullshit, preppy bull, just complete falsity. Every number I'm about to show you for the likes of this damn dirt sport is based on earning it by being the damn best that you've ever damn seen, or doing it on your own. Ain't nobody pushing them nationally into everyone's face every week. And we know why. I already talked. It's a protection situation going on. Mainly gambling, but we're not going to talk about that. Gambling is the whole, you want to move some money, it's either in the tax or the gambling industry. And we know how much, it's easy to bet on horses when it's mechanical horses, ain't it? And if you need to have a car finish here versus there to move some money, I'm just saying. Especially when you're owned by the corporate world. Oh my God. So here is the numbers for the dirt racing world. Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. 347,000 followers. So there's some old school NASCAR drivers from their heyday. They used to be really big and badass. I don't think they are anymore. It's an emulation. But their heyday, they had some drivers that were just as big. They were just that much of a badass series at one time. So this is Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. Obviously, Late Model Series is split up a bunch. World of Outlaw, all this stuff, event bases and all that. So 347 followers. And then this is the World of Outlaw Sprint Car Series. 374,000 followers. Now, I don't know why the dirt track world, and y'all need to look at all these numbers and all these things I'm about to tell you, and this is the battle we are truly up against. I don't know why in the dirt track world it is so Democrat and Republican when it comes to super late models on dirt and sprint cars on dirt. But if we could fix that, we might have a shot at doing something special here. You know, I tried to ask some sprint car communities, for every NASCAR race you watch, I want you to watch one super late model dirt race, and they lost their fucking mind. And I'm assuming if I said the same thing to the late model community, y'all would lose y'all's mind too. The only reason I think they at all mingled is because of Kyle Larson, and that is so damn sad that we don't have respect within our own dirt racing community. So damn sad. But here's the numbers. And we're going to get into the drivers now. These are very low. But remember these drivers that I was pointing you out here over here. 81, 70, 12,000, 86, 112. So here are some of the marquee drivers of the dirt racing industry and their numbers. Some of them are big, some of them ain't. Ricky Thornton Jr., no mainstream pushing. 36,000, probably the hottest driver in super late model racing right now. And obviously, also there's two different pages for him because he was in the SSI car, and that's a separate page. So this is a new page in a way. David Gravel, Houston High Banks winner, 46,000 followers. No mainstream pushing, not on ESPN every week, not on in NBC. Dell Jr. isn't talking about him every chance he can. Bobby Pierce, 119,000 followers. The Pimple on the ass has some decent followers over here. That's insane. That's more than William Byron. Right? Isn't that more than Alex Bowman? More than Alex Bowman. Byron. Briscoe. Eric Amarola. Of course, everyone's bigger than Cindric. Bigger than Ross Chastain. Bobby Pierce is a bigger name than Ross Chastain with no national publication or pushing or nothing like that. Oh my God, imagine if they got that support. It would crush them, and they know that. Bigger than all these guys. Almost bigger than Daniel Suarez, although without the international audience. Once again, your big hitters, your nostalgic names, and of course Bubba Wallace at 179K, ain't nobody in dirt racing gonna outdo him. Rico pulls out the 3'9" with the 10-foot dick followers right here. 206,000 followers for Rico Abreu. So this is also, once again, without any national support in the mainstream media. This is all merit-based. There's no bullshit behind that 206K. He didn't pay for that 206K. He went out there and earned it. And this is bigger than Rico Abreu is bigger than Bubba Wallace socially on social media. 206K, who does that all beat? Well, you ain't gonna beat Chase Elliott. He's got the push. SVG's right there with him. Right there with Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin and Rico are comparable. Crushes Bowman, crushes Byron, crushes all these guys. Crushes Blaney, crushes Suarez. Destroys Chastain. let's just keep going because I think Rico's going to be the biggest hitter we got. Brandon Sheppard sitting at 60. Brandon Sheppard sitting at 60. And see, this is so important for y'all to understand. This is complete merit. Unbelievable. No national publication. When's the last time you saw Brandon Sheppard on NBC or Fox News for 3 or 4 hours straight? Doing documentaries on him. 60K. Hudson O'Neal, relatively, recently new to the national scene. 53K. Donnie Schatz, 70. Sheldon Haudenschild, 62. So, I just wanted to go through all this so that people could see and maybe listen to the big fight we're up against. And some people want this dirt world to feel like a pimple on that. You're so small, you're so little. You're so irrelevant. There's a lot of reasons as to why society feels that way and sees it that way. And there's a lot of bullshit protecting the investment of that way. But I'm showing you these numbers of the pages of the people involved to hopefully get some of your parents out there who are about to drop millions and millions of dollars to try to be a Noah Gregson. Because they think you're gonna be a star or a somebody. All this money to be these guys. And you could save it and go be a dirt star and be just as relevant in reality. And then hopefully, as the mainstream corporatism slowly dies, even though they do own a significant amount of Facebook and all these things. But anyway, that's one of the reasons. I think it was 2 years ago, Daytona 500, they had a highlight video come out, and it was posted just now, but had 100,000 views on the video. I witnessed that myself. How does that happen? You buy them. You buy the bullshit. You buy the views. All these dirt people that I just listed off ain't one motherfucking light bought, paid for, or publicized. And hopefully this video can give you guys some confidence in what you're doing. You're not these small little guys who aren't worth a damn thing. And yeah, society may think of you as small, but they are misjudging you. You guys are the 10 home run hitters who didn't have the money in this motor sports world to be in that rich club over there. But you still are Mike Tyson's. You still are some of the baddest damn drivers of race cars this country has to offer. And as much as people are going to try to ignore that and gatekeep that reality, I am going to continually say that because it's just a fact. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you learned a lot today. Leave some likes, comments below. A lot of information I was able to hopefully give you there. And it's hard to say what can happen next. I may not. They may take me out now. You never know. I'm threatening their investments. It's a very interesting world, especially that defense contractor scenario. Oh my God. Oh wow. Investments in everything. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe, and we will catch you next time.
But this is how we ride, this is how we do.